6 great British boxers, all undisputed world champions whose careers span almost 60 years of British boxing. From flyweight Jimmy Wilde to middleweight Randolph Turpin, from lightweights Jack Kid Berg and Ken Buchanan to Ted Kid Lewis and Benny Lynch. The best of British boxing talent in action. Jimmy Wilde meets Joe Simons for what was billed as a world flyweight title fight. London, the 14th of February, 1916.
Earlier today at a crowded weigh-in, Jimmy Wilde tried a little bit of one-upmanship. He weighed in fully clothed and comfortably made the 8 stones flyweight limit. Well, here, in a case of anything you can do, I can do better, Joe Simons tries to do exactly the same. Well, there's an anxious wait as the officials take a look at the scales, and crucially, he's just over that 8 stone limit. And so it's a case of off with the shirt, off with the trousers, and let's weigh in again. And this time, they take a look, and he scales 7 stone, 13 and a half, just inside the limit. And so the fight is on, and we pick up the action in round 2. A good opening round from Joe Simons, the Devon fighting machine. Jimmy Wilde, with his back to us in the dark shorts, 2-1 on favourite to win this fight. Wilde, 23 years old, 2 years the older man. In his 110th professional contest, 107 of them he's won so far. Wilde, markedly the smaller man, boyish-looking figure. Good left hands from Simons. And again, good uppercut. Simons, whose real name is Hubert Toms, fighting out of Plymouth. Served in the Navy. And going to work again. Wilde starting slowly in this fight, and Simons continuing where he was in the first, very much on top at the moment. Simons with height and reach advantage, trying to leap in behind that left jab. Oh, and those are the best punches Wilde's thrown so far. Good right-left combination, and another good straight left. Wilde challenging for the title here. The Welshman from Tylerstown, mining village in the Rhondda. Simons again going to work on Wilde's body and catches him with a left to the jaw. Not too many spare seats at the National Sporting Club in the West End of London in Covent Garden. As always, the members seated around the ring in their dinner jackets. No women allowed in. And the protocol, keep the noise down during the action. And Simons with his back to us on the right-hand side, maybe he's just done enough to shade this round as well. Fighting for a £500 purse tonight. Simons gets clipped by a left from Wilde, but his reach advantage has been decisive in these 2 opening periods. Awful lot of leaning on. Referee for this contest, incidentally, the cricketer JWHT Douglas. Another good left hand from Simons. And that's the end of the second, and Simons in control. Into the 10th, and Simons, by virtue of his aggression, still edging this fight. But Jimmy Wilde, we know, is the man who has the punch. Simons leaps forward behind that left lead, and when he does so, he's vulnerable. Almost getting tagged by a counter there. The clash of heads. Wild, who'd won his last 12 fights before this, inside the distance. Wild, remember, in the dark shorts on the right-hand side of your picture now. Simon's really leaping in, but there's a little bit of a look of desperation about a lot of his work. And Wild, who does punch very, very hard for such a small man, is starting to pick off his opponent. Wild reputedly weighing only 6 stone 10 prior to this, and he swings himself off his feet. No knockdown there. Good left lead again from Wild. Said his preparations for this fight were absolutely spot on. His only defeat at the hands of the Scotsman Tansy Lee in 1915, and that was when he was suffering from a bad bout of flu. Well, another close round, but you get the impression that Wild coming on top now. And into the 12th. Referee JWHT Douglas, outside the ring, of course. Oh, good left hand from Simons, but Wild takes it well. Wild actually fought only 7 days before this fight. Won by first round knockout. Simon's trying to go to work to the body. Now, good left hand from the champion. Simon's really hustling his man across the ring. But Wild lands a good right hand and a good left, and Simon's felt that one. Oh, and he's in trouble now. He was nailed by that left hook, and Wild's gone in with the right over the top, and these are anxious times for the man from Plymouth. The little Welshman, the mighty Atom, starting to unload. Wild knows that he's stung his man, and he's now looking to unload that big right hand left into the body. And Simons at last is made to backpedal, and again that desperate right over the top, and he's nailed by more counter punches. Good right hand again from Wild. And Simons just wants to hold on. Wild has the former world featherweight champion Jim Driscoll in his corner. He'll be well satisfied with his man's work now. Good hand speed from Wild. Simons continuing to leap in. And a good left hand from Simons, but he's caught again, coming in with that left uppercut from Wild. Oh, good right hand from Simons. Terrific exchanges in this 12th round. And a good left into the body from the champion. Wild picking him off with a smart straight right counter. Simon's trying to unload those big punches, particularly the right hand. He sees that as the key, but he's being caught time and again now by Wild. Oh, good left hand from Wild. And another good straight jab. Big left hand from Simons. This has been a sensational 3 minutes. Still get the impression that the fight could go either way. Wild unloading with that left hand. Keeps his gloves very low, but now he's unleashing a terrific attack. Oh, and Simons is in big trouble. There's nothing coming back from the champion. Wild's put him down. He sank momentarily to his knees. And he's down for the count, and the fight's all over. The fight's being stopped, and Jimmy Wild is signalled as the winner and champion of the world and of Britain and winner of the Lonsdale belt. Wild celebrates. He was known as the ghost with a hammer in his hand. The little Welshman with the big punch, proudly wearing his Lonsdale belt.
Ted Kid Lewis meets Johnny Basham in a fight for the British Empire welterweight title. London, 19th of November, 1920.
Ted Kid Lewis in the white shorts, a superstar on both sides of the Atlantic. A real rough, tough brawler of a fighter. Johnny Basham trying to regain the title, which he lost to Lewis in June this year. Basham's so confident he's had £1,000 bet of his own money on the outcome of this fight, but Lewis in the opening period already carrying the contest to him. Lewis from Aldgate in the East End of London. Jewish, of course, his real name Gershon Mendeloff. And the roar of acclamation from the crowd as he already starts to unload those big punches. Lewis, the European champion, and of course former world champion, had that wonderful succession of battles against Jack Britton. But Johnny Basham, 31, from Newport in South Wales in the black trunks, a stylist, a good boxer, and tremendously confident. Bell goes to end the first. Basham perhaps doing enough to shade it. In the 16th, Basham had dominated up to around about the 12th. Then Lewis caught him with a tremendous right hand to his left ear. Basham in pain since then, and now Lewis right back in the fight and perhaps beginning to take control. The Albert Hall absolutely packed for this fight. Scheduled for 20 rounds. Lewis astonishingly in his 238th pro fight into the 19th, and Lewis now in control. Basham very wary of Lewis's big right hand, which has caused him all sorts of problems throughout this fight, and particularly in the last few rounds. The left ear of Johnny Basham badly damaged. They call Johnny Basham the happy warrior. Don't think he's too happy at the moment. Good left lead from Lewis. Lewis, 27 years old, 4 years the younger man. Oh, good left from Lewis, and another one. There's blood on the left side of Basham's face. Oh, and another savage right hand goes in. Lewis looking to tee Basham up with that right hand. Good left hand in there from Basham this time. Lewis caught by that, and the Welshman takes heart from it. Oh, but he's caught him. Left hand from Lewis did the damage, and Basham's down. Referee Eugene Corrie holding Lewis back. and Basham's in big trouble. Lewis throwing everything at Basham, and that's the second knockdown. And I don't think Basham's going to get up. Lewis thinks he's won it. The fight's over. And Ted Kid Lewis has successfully defended his titles.
Jack Kid Bird fights Harry Misler for the Lightweight Championship of Great Britain. London, 29th of October, 1934.
Misler, the holder, is slightly the taller. Berg, the challenger, has striped trunks. Cautious boxing starts the fight, with each of the Jewish antagonists taking the measure of the other. Kid Berg soon takes the offensive and surprises the champion with his two-handed attack. Misler, the ex-amateur stylist, is unable to keep the contest a mere boxing match. Berg, though the older man, is relentless and maintains a furious bombardment with rights and lefts to the body. Misler's continually rushed to the ropes and takes heavy punishment. In the 10th round, with damaged hands, Misler is forced to retire, the referee emphasizing the champion's failure by throwing the towel in the air. At last, Kid Berg has realized his ambition by taking the British lightweight title.
British boxing legend Benny Lynch challenges champion Jackie Brown for the world flyweight title. Manchester, 9th of September, 1935.
The big fight at Manchester is on. Lynch, the slighter man with everything to win, Brown with curly hair defending his 3 flyweight titles, world, European and British. Brown is very confident, but Lynch, the former Glasgow messenger boy, is only waiting an opportunity to get in a powerful punch, and there it goes. Brown is quickly up again, but Lynch sends him to the boards 4 more times in the first round. Watch his left hook. In the second round, Lynch goes on hitting and Brown goes on falling. 5 more times he goes down. Brown is battered and groggy. The Manchester boxer is dethroned, and the referee stops the fight after 10 knockdowns in 4 minutes 42 seconds. And then pandemonium. The sensation is too much for the Scots in the audience, who raid the ring to congratulate the new world champion.
Randolph Turpin meets Charles Humez for the European middleweight title. London, 9th of June, 1953.
And so to the fabulous White City and the 54,000 crowd basking in typical Solomon's weather. As usual, it's a sellout, but who would you guess is getting the big end of the gate? The Chancellor of the Exchequer, but nobody's worrying about that now. The prelims are nearly over, so let's take a quick look for celebrities before the big show begins. For instance, the White City has big memories for our old friend, Freddie Mills. And there's Mrs. Mills with Jack and Freddie. Captain Ayres, boss of the White City, is ably assisted by a staff of experts. Far left is Val Parnell of the Palladium, and another keenly interested ringsider hoping to take Turpin over to the States is Harry Moxon with Joe Loss. Fresh from over there are Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. The Duke of Marlborough is followed by his son and heir, the Marquis of Blandford. Now, the experts are ready to tell the story to the world, so we'll have to hurry. Frankie and Mrs. Arthur Gardner. The Marquis of Milford Haven. But now the lights go down. The big show is on. Turpin, as cool as always, calmly sits down there. And with the prelims over, we'll be bringing you the highlights as we saw them from the White City ringside. Round one. And watch this former welterweight Humez on his toes, light and light. Turpin flat-footed, dangerous. That left-hand jab of Turpin looks just like a flick with a lot of power and bone and muscle inside that glove. Humez has respect for it. He keeps a respectful distance almost all the time. Humez jabbing in. He's out of distance each time he jabs in. Turpin doing his best to entice Humez towards him, but Humez is having nothing of that. He knows what's there behind those gloves. Very wild. Humez punching wildly with both hands, but not stepping in far enough. That left hand jabbing all the time. A nice jab to the body there by Humez, but it's one of few that he really puts power behind. Round two. Turpin in the white striped trunks. And now some of the liquor Turpin killer instinct coming out. He drives Humez into a neutral corner, but not for long. He lets him come right back into the open spaces again. Clubbing Humez, but Humez covers up quite well. In on him now. He's hurting Humez. That nose is beginning to show signs of wear. Humez, the Iron Man of France, is still there, punching away, taking what Turpin gives him. Round five, and Humez still moving away from those solid left-hand punches of Liquor Turpin from Leamington. Turpin casual, even holds those gloves open. The crowd want to see the killer come out in him. Is he setting for that right-hand punch? Yes, he's setting, but it's a very wild one. It even makes Turpin smile. The only man in danger there was referee Andrew Smythe. That's a nice right hand, but just not right on the button by Humez. A little bit further, another inch, and this fight might have a different story. That nose of Humez bleeding. Turpin trying to set him up for a right-hand punch, but again, those gloves cover up and save Humez dangerous trouble. Humez leading dangerously with the right hand, leaves himself open for a counter, but Turpin doesn't take advantage of it. End of round five. Nothing very spectacular, but Turpin still in command and punching away towards that world title. round 14. Second last round, and the crowd are shouting for more action, and Humes is trying rather tentatively to give it to them. That left hand, bang, bang on the Humes nose all the time. That Humes head must be really ringing now. And it looks like Turpin that time, who was glad to go inside. Still finding the nose as Humes tries his own tentative left-hand jab. Turpin inching up all the time. We think he's going to get set for that right hand, but it never really comes. Humes, for all the 14 rounds he's gone, is still light on those feet and ready to sway away and get out of dangerous range. In he comes and takes a right clip on the chin. Turpin still daring him to come in. And he tries that wild leading right hand, but Turpin stays there and punishes him badly as he comes in. Humes trying to inch Turpin into a neutral corner there. Turpin gets in, but Humes, no, he lets him get out again. He's not going to trade punches with this liquor boy from Leamington. Stopped again as he comes in, so we see now why he doesn't bother to come in so often, because Turpin pins him every time he does. Doing very well, and the bleeding from that nose has stopped. His seconds have done a wonderful job on Humes. And Turpin still as cool as he was in the opening round, and a rather tired and weary Humes is worked on again by his seconds, the nose taking most of the attention. The last round, a shake hand and a smile, but the crowd don't want smiles, they want fury here. Turpin's still well within himself. He doesn't have to do much to win here. He's well ahead on points, and Humes is the man who'd have to knock out to win at this stage. The last round of the middleweight world championship contest in the White City. Humes trying as hard as he can. Lefts and rights, very nice punches there by Humes. He's certainly full of courage, this boy. He makes Turpin miss badly there, and he gets the cheers of the crowd. And another saucy French left hand there as he shoves Turpin away from him. But Turpin's still very much the stronger of the two. That left hand of Humes keeps going down as if he's resting it, letting the blood flow down into it again. And that wild, hopeful right hand that Humes swings like some memory he's seen before of a right hand from Sugar Ray that hurt and hit Turpin. And on the bell, Turpin once more unleashes one of these fairly half-hearted furies of his. Referee comes over, and Turpin is the winner. Turpin is the world champion. And it meets with quite a mixed reception from the crowd, not because they think Turpin didn't win, but because they didn't care so much for the way in which he did win. They wanted to see a knockout. They saw blood, but they wanted to see a knockout, and they didn't get it. Turpin is the champion. And not a mark to show for it that we can see. And a warm kiss from George Middleton. As if Turpin needed a kiss at that stage. It's poor old Humes needs it somewhere below that battered nose of his, but he's still smiling and still a game boxer. Onslow Fane, chairman of the British Boxing Board of Control, presents his trophy to Turpin. And Turpin's now thinking of roll on the American opponent for the title.
Former world lightweight champion Ken Buchanan meets another former world lightweight champion Carlos Ortiz in the Battle of the Champions. New York, 20th of September, 1972.
So Ortiz never beaten in the Garden Ring. It's up to Buchanan now to try and get the center of the ring and make Ortiz circle around him, use up his legs a bit. 69 fights now, Carlos Ortiz, so he may be carrying just a bit of lead in those legs at 36. No doubt about it that Buchanan stays in tremendous condition. He's only had a short notice for this fight, and he came in at 9 stone 8.5 pounds. That's almost his best fighting weight. The referee there, friendly tap on the back, is Georgie Coyle, New York State Commission appointed referee, of course. I think the thing to look for is Ortiz trying to use the left hook. That's his favorite punch. And he's waiting for Buchanan to lead with him with that long left hand and try to counter with a leg. He almost did it there, but it was only a tap blow to the head. They're coming up then to the end of the first round, scheduled for 10. So there's Ken Buchanan getting the treatment from the American trainer, Gil Clancy, who also manages Emil Griffiths, twice champion of the world. And Buchanan's father on the outside of the ring there. But Ken, of course, is now self-managed, and he certainly talked himself into a rather lucrative fight here. $25,000 plus all expenses. So there's a man who knows his way around, of course, Carlos Ortiz, never beaten in the Garden Ring. So the range findings over then in the second round for Buchanan and Ortiz. Both former lightweight champions of the world. A lot of pride at stake, and a bit more, I think, for Buchanan, because he really can't afford to lose to a veteran like this if he's hoping for the return fight here at Madison Square Garden with Roberto Duran. Ortiz, in fact, made the comeback because he didn't think Buchanan was a particularly good champion, or his predecessor Ismael Laguna, and he's had 9 wins in that comeback and stopped 8 of those opponents. You might say that Ortiz using this experience of his now to try and tame the youth, although a youth at 27 knows his way around a bit. Amateur champion, British champion, of course, a title he didn't lose, and then world champion. Ortiz, I think, can match the Scot for left hands, but he isn't as quick. But he certainly bangs hard with that left hand. That's always been his favorite punch, and Ortiz has never been knocked out. Look, the way this referee keeps getting on his bike there and getting out of certainly out of the picture all the time, and I think even more so out of the way of the punches coming his way. That's a dangerous punch there for Buchanan because Ortiz pulled him on to that punch. He really made a bit more impetus with that. That's an old pro trick if ever I've seen one. So there's half a minute to go then in the second round. And it may be that Ortiz is trying to make Buchanan fight his type of fight. So that isn't makeup there, of course, for Buchanan. That's just a little bit of grease around the face, help him to slip a few punches. And Emil Griffiths, a very good trainer there, although, of course, Buchanan had some good tutoring from Eddie Thomas, his former manager. Is looking as though he's saying, come on, get those hands moving a bit faster. So round 3, and just in case you've just joined us, it's Ken Buchanan, as you would expect, in the tartan trunks against Carlos Ortiz, both former lightweight champions of the world, and at this stage, looks to me as though Buchanan's pepped up the pace a little bit and should be a little bit too quick for Ortiz. But on the other hand, he can't afford to hang his chin out at all, because Ortiz can still punch. The last thing a former champion loses, of course, is the strength of his punch. He may get a little slow, but he can still hit a bit. Ortiz now trying to maul a little bit to try and slow Buchanan down to his standard there. He just can't get around on those toes as much as he could. For instance, when he defeated Dave Charnley in England back in 1958, he certainly looked up on his toes a lot more than this. Well, you could tell by the crowd that they liked that punch from Ortiz, but I don't think Buchanan did. He just dropped that left hand there as he was going to lead to Ortiz's body, and the old pro there shot the right hand punch over the top. Suit Buchanan better to really stick to that boxing, using that left hand as he is there and trying to do a bit of dancing with it. If he stands and slugs with Ortiz, he could run into trouble. You can almost see Ortiz saying, why don't you stand still, I want to hit you, but Buchanan won't have none of that if he can help it. That's almost the place on the ropes there, in that same position where Buchanan was hit that low punch by Roberto Duran, the punch that actually caused the Scot to lose the World Championship. Coming up then to the end of round 3. Round 6 there, and Buchanan's trainer had a word with the referee there. I think he's complaining that Ortiz is coming in with the head a bit dangerously. They're certainly patching that cut eye of Buchanan up very well between rounds, but that's the sort of thing he can't risk there, close in quarters. He's got to watch that. thing is with Buchanan, when he's fighting a man of Ortiz's experience, it isn't easy to get away from him on the ropes. You can see that Buchanan is trying to pull himself together there, shaking his arms around, trying to get some tempo going. He really is going a bit slow, Buchanan, for his kind of speed, and this, of course, is suiting Ortiz. You may say that Ortiz is dragging him down to his speed level. Well, that's one way of keeping Ortiz's head up anyway, to use these uppercuts. The referee seems to be getting there and making himself almost into a wrestling match. He should be doing this by word of mouth rather than having to push them apart. So half a minute to go in this round, and there you can see, of course, Buchanan starting to step this pace up, as indeed he must. He realizes that if he stands there and just looks at Ortiz, he'll get hit, but he can pick Ortiz off a bit with the left hand. Ortiz there just checking what round it is. I don't know why he's shaking his head like this. He's probably saying, well, I don't quite know how to handle this fella. It looks as though he's got a bit of arm trouble and arguing with his second, I think. He really looks distressed, and the referee's coming over, Georgie Coyle, saying, what's going on here? No, he stopped the fight. I thought he would. Well, the doctor says that Ortiz is just unable to fight any farther. He doesn't claim that he's injured. He's just run out of gas, and there's no doubt about it. That's the end of a once great fighter in Carlos Ortiz, and it's a very welcome victory, as you can see, from Ken Buchanan there, the former champion of the world, who wants to get another crack to regain that title.